This video is brought to you by Iona, North America's premier charging network. With unmatched commitment to elevating the customer experience, Iona is opening America's roads to all EVs, giving drivers the coverage they need, the reliability they deserve, and the amenities they crave.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Out of Spec Reviews, where today I'm going to be able to drive the new 2027 Chevy Bolt for the first time. Now, you may remember back in October, I was out in California at Universal Studios for the block party where they introduced the Bolt. And I took you on a full tour of the UI. We'll put a link in the description to that video that was also put up on the reviews channel. But the thing is, I didn't get a chance to drive the Bolt there. And today I'm going to get a chance. So I'm going to take you on how this thing drives. I'm going to take you a little bit on a refresher of the full tour, a little bit of the history of the Bolt, and why it makes sense for it to be coming back. An interesting thing, this is going to be a limited run for only the next year and a half. It's being made in Kansas. One of the great things that they've put on this vehicle now is, look at that, baby, NACS. And no longer 55 kilowatts, we're up to 150. And as a matter of fact, I saw 157 yesterday at the Tesla Supercharger. From 10 to 80%, 26 minutes. Now, the Chevy guys are telling me 25 minutes, and that's got to be under perfect conditions. The battery pack's got to be at the right temperature and what have you. But yeah, listen, I was not far off in terms of my charging session. New GM Super Cruise with built-in radar, ultrasonic, and also vision-based. It does lane changing now, which is amazing. Let's check out this Chevy Bolt, and welcome to another episode of Out of Spec Reviews. Bolts are everywhere. Blue, orange. They even have one in yellow that's looking pretty good. So look, let's talk about this Chevy Bolt. It is available in two trims. The LT, it starts at $28,995, including destination, which is a great value. The LT trim, you can get Super Cruise on it. You can get a sunroof on it, $1,495 option. If you spec out the car in the RS, which this vehicle is right here, then that will come up to, I think $38,995 is kind of the max spec if you put everything on it, including the destination. There's no frunk on this vehicle. I'm 6'5" and I fit really quite well. We're going to go for a drive, and I'm going to talk to you a lot about this car during the drive, a lot about sort of the history of the Bolt. A lot of you will remember that they killed the Bolt back in 2023, and the Bolt sort of has a fan club. Sort of the folks here at Chevy said it's kind of like the cult following, loyal owners, kind of liken it to maybe even the Corvette owners. Not to compare the cars, but to compare the enthusiasm that the Bolt owners have. So let's go ahead and take a drive in this vehicle and talk a lot more about the Chevy Bolt. The Bolt is back, folks, and I like what I see. Inside the vehicle, big upgrade from the previous Bolt. Dual large screens. You've got an 11-inch digital driver cluster, and then you've got an 11.3-inch infotainment system running Google built in. No Apple CarPlay here. No Android Auto here, that's GM's choice, but it's got wireless Google Maps, Spotify, YouTube, even some apps when parked. The materials feel much nicer, softer touch, dash, better stitching, available simulated leather. These seats right here are the RS trim. You can see the stitching, and you can see the nice sort of simulated leather. The steering wheel feels really good. It's a circle, it's not a squircle or any kind of wacky thing like that. So it's the seats are really comfortable. Now I'm 6'5" and I've got plenty of headroom, and this sunroof up here, it actually opens. I mean, it's not massive. It's also got a sunshade there, a power sunshade that will work as well. So no Waze native in here, but Google Maps actually uses the same data from social as far as where construction zones are or any other kinds of things. You've got wireless charging right over here. You've got all these little nooks and crannies, and also a nice little glove compartment right there. But the materials are decent. They're a little bit nicer than, I think, when the original Bolt. It's kind of soft touch here. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting materials. It's okay. Look, it's an inexpensive car, and it does have OnStar up here. Conventional HVAC, and what's nice, it's a combination of the touch screen plus also all of the different firm buttons that you can push. So this is the button right here that you'll use for Super Cruise. This is the eye controlled that will actually take a peek at your eyes, and if you're looking away, then it won't allow you to do hands-free driving. But pretty good. As far as the back seat goes, there's a lot more room in this than the previous Bolt, because they gave you an extra 3 inches of rear leg room back in here. And I'm going to go back and sit in there, being 6'5", and see if I can actually fit. So I was just sitting in the front seat there comfortably, and I'm going to get in the back seat here and see how, oh, yeah, I got in. The seat is pretty far back, and there's a interesting cutout right here, which goes up nice and high. You know, listen, I'm tall. I'm back in here. I would rather sit in the front seat, but I do have that back. Look how far back this seat is. In all fairness, I am okay back in here. So daily drive it, commute with it, charge it at home, have it be super reliable. And then if you want to take it on the road now with 150 kilowatt charging, you can do that. DC fast charging is respectable. When you look in the far rear, it's there's enough room back there, maybe for a set of golf clubs. If you put down one of the seats, for sure. You're going to be looking sporting when you pull up to the country club in this rig. This is, I just love the little Bolt. Very cute. The materials do feel nicer in this vehicle. Soft touch dash, better stitching. Seats are pretty comfy, supportive, heated front seats and steering wheel on the higher trims. And rear seats have USB ports and decent headroom. I just sat back in there and yeah, I got away with it. From a tech highlight standpoint, there are over 20 safety features standard: automatic emergency braking, lane keep, adaptive cruise. Super Cruise could be optional if you go for it, and I would highly recommend it. I thought it was excellent. It's really hands-free driving. Now, the NACS port means Tesla supercharger access without using a Combo 1 adapter or something like that. The only thing that's a little strange is it's up here on the front. And the way that it opens is this way. So if you pull into a Tesla supercharger and you pull the cable around, if it's a V3, it might be a little tough to get it in there. But a lot of the V3.5s, the sort of newer charging stations, they have a little bit longer cords. So, you know, it's funny, when I first went to charge this thing today, I actually backed in, just being a Tesla guy, and then I had to pull it in going forwards. So no big deal, but just keep that in mind. Okay, everything's set now and we are taking off. So what I want to do today is provide you with my sort of observations about how this vehicle is, how it drives and what I think of it. So I'm going to sit back, soak it in a little bit here first, but yeah, going to be taking on this little trek to Malibu, California. It's going to be sunny and 75 degrees today in California. Sign me up. I can only evaluate what I'm seeing here today. And the headline is really the charging speed on this vehicle. And it's a combination of the charging speed when you're DC fast charging, as well as the fact that it's new. This battery is using new LFP chemistry, which is a lithium iron phosphate. What that really means is you can charge this battery up to 100% every day if you want. And while most other car manufacturers, or even GM or Chevy themselves, will tell you if you're using NMC chemistry, just think of it like a different type of battery, on a daily basis, you shouldn't charge that battery pack up to 100%. So if you take 80%, which is what most of the manufacturers recommend that you would charge a battery up to each day, and if that vehicle that you're buying has, let's just say, 330 miles of range, you can do the math. If you take 80% of 330, it's somewhere right around 262 miles of range. So you can wake up every day to this vehicle, plugging it in at home, and which, by the way, it has an 11 kilowatt onboard charger, which is great. Now, the EVSE that comes with the vehicle, it will only charge the car at 7.7 kilowatts. Which is still gonna put enough energy in the vehicle overnight when you're charging it at home. But if you get a wall-mounted unit that's capable of doing 11 kilowatts, this vehicle will do a charge on a level 2 at 11 kilowatts, which is
which is quite good. So from an AC charging standpoint, it ticks the box. 11 kilowatts, that's fine. You don't need to have 19.2 or what have you. But the real story is the old Bolt. It used to charge at 55 kilowatts on a DC fast charger. That was the maximum it ever charged. And so this one here is charging at 150 kilowatts, they say, peak. Oh, I got to turn around. I just made a wrong turn. Let's check out the turning radius here, okay? I think it's probably pretty good. It's a good little car, small little car. There you go. I should probably turn the voice navigation on, but those things drive me crazy. One thing that's really interesting is when you're DC fast charging, the car will show in the screen how much energy it's requesting and how much it's able to take on. And then it also shows you how much energy the car is actually how much energy is being put into the battery pack. So, you know, oftentimes when you're charging a car, you sit there and you go, I got a bad charging session. I'm only pulling, you know, in this car, let's say you're only pulling 118 and everything is right. Maybe it's a bad charger, right? Here, they give you the data, which I like. When you are calculating your route and you're going to a DC fast charger, they've got all of the destinations embedded right into the navigation system, which is all Google based. And so, by the way, no Waze integration here, but Google Maps uses the same data as Waze for social and all of that. So I really think it's good implementation. So no Android Auto, no CarPlay or anything like that. It's all Google. But this car will do battery preconditioning to your destination, which is great. So in other words, what the vehicle has got is a system to either heat up the battery pack to make sure that the battery is at the optimal temperature, so that when you plug in to charge, you're going to receive as much energy as possible. Or if the battery pack is hot, it will cool down the battery pack. So it's got good thermal management in order to take care of battery preconditioning, which is great. When you pull into a Tesla supercharger today, there's 3 ways to activate the charging session. One, you could go to your Tesla app and say, charge my other Tesla vehicle. I think I just missed a turn again. No, I didn't. Okay. The other thing is you can pull up the GM app and you can activate it there. But one nice thing that GM has done here is they have integrated all of the charging stations right into the Google screen, and you can activate the charging session right from the screen. So you don't even need to use an app. And to make it even better, later this year, this car is going to be receiving an over-the-air update that will allow you to do simple plug and charge just like a Tesla. So go to any Tesla supercharger, plug it in, and it will work. As long as that Tesla supercharger is capable of charging other cars other than a Tesla. So V2s are out, and not all V3s are able to charge this car or any non-Tesla car. Most are, but there are a number of V3s out there, version 3 superchargers, that won't be able to charge this car. This system will tell you which ones, if it's not eligible to charge at a Tesla supercharger, it won't navigate you there. So that's all the good news, which is great. The bad news, in my opinion, is the location of where they put the NACS port. It's on the front left bump or front left fender. So when you pull into a, let's call it a V3.5 cabinet, Tesla, everybody calls them version 4 cabinets, which they are, but they're really V3 chargers at least at this point in time. Those cables they're going to be fine. You're going to be able to nose up. This is a short little stubby nose in this vehicle, and you're going to be able to pull up nice, plug in, no issues. But if you're plugging into a real V3, not a 3.5, cabinet charging station, then you may not be able to reach. You're going to have to really nose it up. And so I was talking to one of the engineers a little bit about why the design change. Why didn't they put it in the back left or maybe the front right? And, you know, look, you got to realize they started with the existing Bolt platform, the EUV platform. And for them to re-engineer and recalibrate all of that, and then that also seeing that Tesla is putting out a lot more of these, you know, V3.5s or the 4.0 charging stations with the longer cables, that just was a cost decision to keep it where it is. The other thing that they have done is they vastly improved the hands-free driving with this vehicle. Now, you need to check the box when you're ordering the car that it will have Super Cruise. And the reason for that is because this vehicle has two sets of two radar sensors in the rear, one radar sensor in the front, and it also has two extra ultrasonic sensors. I know for a fact in the front, I believe in the rear as well. And what those sensors are doing and what the radar is doing is it's giving you a lot more ability to be able to detect the cars around you. So therefore, it's now doing lane centering. So for those of the few people that maybe had a Bolt EUV where Super Cruise back the older generation was available, if you had Super Cruise in that generation of the Bolt, you were not able to do lane changing. Well, guess what? With this version, this is pretty much the latest, greatest. It's the same system. It watches your eyes with a little bit of a little camera right in front. So if you drive Brooklyn style, it's not going to work. You know, if you have your arm over the steering wheel. But you know, this new Super Cruise is very good. So check out. There's a separate video that I made with Chris Bowman, who is one of the product managers of the Bolt, and we went off for a ride and demonstrated the Super Cruise functionality over on the Out of Spec Bits channel. So check that out. That's a dedicated video on Super Cruise, and it's got some cool features that are really good. I did get thrown into Super Cruise jail because I wanted to see what this vehicle would do if I didn't pay attention, and I just let it sort of yell at me to take over. And you actually have to stop and restart the vehicle. It's not like it counts the number of times you do that and, you know, counts you out for, you know, takes you off the ability. You just have to recycle the car and then you're free to go again. Super Cruise is, I think, somewhere around $3,200 option. It includes 3 years of service for free. And then after that, I believe the cost jumps to around $40, $39.95 a month for you to be able to use it. Now, Super Cruise uses maps, which is an interesting concept. It's, you know, obviously anything can change with construction zones and maps, but, you know, it seems that Chevy, along with some other manufacturers, have taken a little bit more of a conservative route in terms of how they're delivering advanced driver assistance. As we get into this sort of canyon road over here, this is beautiful. And we're going to talk about the driving characteristics here in a minute. One thing I do want to point out is that there are versions of Super Cruise on other models of GM, including some of the Cadillacs, that will do lane centering even if the road is not mapped. Now, for some reason on the Bolt, that's not the case. And my understanding is, I think it's the same technology. So the question is, why didn't Chevy allow the car to do lane centering on non-mapped roads? I don't really know. So I think when the original system came out for Super Cruise, there might have been 20,000 miles of roads mapped, and now there's something like 600,000 miles of roads mapped. But they still have to take the data in if there's a construction zone in the... I guess I don't really understand why using a mapped system versus a non-mapped system was the right design choice. But that's what GM decided to do. And I would say that the way with which you can see whether or not you're on a mapped road or not a mapped road, it's pretty evident on the screen, on the Google screen right there. So that's really quite good. I don't like heights, okay? those of you who know me, I don't really do well with heights, but this is a spectacular road. I texted my son Kyle earlier. I showed him the route we're going. He goes, "Oh, that's one of my faves. I love it." They picked a great route here. So there are some rocks on the road here, but yeah, listen, I'm sort of accelerating up the hill here, and nice twisties right through here. It's fun to drive. It's cute, short little wheelbase car. It's got enough torque to be able to get up and go. You know, what's nice about a road like this and a car like this is you don't have to go super high speed in order to put a smile on your face, right? You can just whip it around and just have some fun with it. So I like these tight turns, and I've got the regen in high, and I love it. Just I'm sort of like one pedal. I remember years ago, I'm a big snowmobile guy, and we rode Skidoo E-Tex for years. One year I bought a Yamaha 4-stroke sled, and that thing had compression, engine compression off. That was amazing. You didn't have to touch the brake as much, and I'm feeling a very similar feeling with this EV. That's one of the benefits of any EV, to be honest. But the fact that the Bolt is now giving you the option to choose how much regen you want when you're driving on a road like this, all the way down to one pedal driving, hats off to them. That's a major change from the original Bolt as well. It was either on or off. And so here you've got the ability to select what you wanted to do. Just fun. Oh, this is really, really cool. You know, it's wow, little hairpin turn here. This is spectacular. One thing they did give me here in the car was this C-band here for nauseousness. Maybe I should have put that on. I don't know. Look at this house up here on the hill. Honey, I'm home. What's for dinner? Home with my Bolt. You know, you've got a front display that has a number of different ways or different options, so you can choose what you want to see on that screen. So if you right click the right button, or the right sort of scroll wheel, you can do a single gauge screen. You can hold it in again, and you can do a dual gauge screen. That's a nice thing. So you can see your miles per hour, you can see your kilowatts, and you not only can see how much you're expending, but you can see how much you're putting back in. Like I just went 41 kilowatts of regen right there. Or, oh, this is great. I love these roads. So much fun. The other thing that you can do on this new display is you can put your Google Maps now in the center display above, right in front of the steering wheel, and you can actually put that into perhaps north up in front of your steering wheel. But on the Google Maps, on the big map over here, you might want to put that in direction of travel. So you have both contexts, if you will, at your disposal. Now, it looks like we're coming up to the top of the hill, and we started off at a 39% state of charge, and we are currently at, let me just see this, where are we at right now? 69 miles of range. Now, why is that not showing me the state of charge? 63 degrees out. Let me just see. How do I? Oh, I'm at a 33% state of charge. You can see that over here in the Google screen. I'm just getting acclimated with this. So we expended 36%, and now I believe we're going to start to go down, or at least across right here, and we'll see how much regen we get going on the way back down. I did see yesterday when I was preparing to do the charging test, and I wanted to bring the battery pack down to 10% state of charge. I was doing some full throttle acceleration, and then I was hard on the brake, and the brake blending for regen is very smooth, and that's retuned for this new 2027 Bolt as well. But I saw 134 kilowatts of regen registered on the screen. Look at this road. This is so much fun. Really cool. As far as 0 to 60, the older Bolt did 0 to 60, I believe it was 7 seconds. So nothing to write home about. This is about the same, 6.8. You know what? It's fine for its use case, for its price point. It's really fine. It's not like you're sitting there lacking. So plenty of acceleration right there when we're coming up to this turn. And again, it's just the delivery of the power, really, for that matter, in any EV. It's just bang right there. It doesn't have to spool up. You don't have to use turbos or superchargers. The acceleration is just immediate in these vehicles. And in a road like this, we used to ride snowmobiles up in Vermont quite a bit on what I call single track roads, single track trails. And the punch and the brake and the punch and the brake, that was so much fun, interactive. And you get into a zone when you're driving a road like this where you just become one with the car. There's no gear shifts to think about, which is, maybe, yeah, listen, if you're a 6-speed 911 type guy, I get that. I am that too. Don't get me wrong. But you can have some fun with this little Bolt. It's not too big. The side to side, the body roll. Wow, look at this view. This is a gorgeous road. California. This is so much fun. I'm so glad you're coming along for the ride with me to be able to see this. Just so much fun. As far as the headroom, just my seating posture in here, I feel very comfortable. My butt, my legs go a little further beyond the actual width of the seat, but the seat's very flat and it's comfortable as a result. The headrest is kind of right where I need it to be. It's not like my head goes all the way back, but it feels comfortable. The driving position feels good. There is a tilt and telescopic, functionality here, but it's manual. So nice little Ferrari coming up the road there. One thing that the guys from Chevy said that we have to be careful about is a lot of bicycles on this road. So I want to make sure that that we definitely are careful. Safety first, for sure. I really think if you wanted to let it rip, this is the kind of road where you could really have some fun riding. And I'm taking it easy and just enjoying myself. Old guy behind the wheel, alert. You know, Kyle, just a side note, I understand why you like to come up here and drive these roads. This is so much fun. Really fun. Beautiful. Next 7 miles. Look at that sign right there. What a beautiful, beautiful drive. Wow, there's some huge satellite dishes over there. See, the regen just bites. I like that coming into this. I haven't really touched the brake except for that stop sign I almost blew through. I don't think I've touched the brake once. I like that. But if you don't like it, you can turn it off now. Just bites in. Oh, great.
All right, guys, so here I am in Malibu, California on a Tuesday. Not bad, right? I'm going to be talking to Jeffrey Wolak, one of the senior engineers on the whole battery systems. And one of the big headlines about this vehicle is we all kind of joke about the old Bolts charging on the 350 EAs, and they only could do a 55 kilowatts max. Well, guess what? This puppy can charge at 150 kilowatts. And I want to talk to Jeffrey to say, what was the challenge that you had? Obviously, we kind of know. But what did you do about it, and how did you deliver that? So let's bring Jeffrey on and have a quick chat with him. Well, Jeffrey, welcome to the channel, and I'm just curious about, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your role at Chevy, and also what you've done with this Bolt.
Yeah, my name is Jeff Wolak. I'm one of the lead development engineers out at our Milford Proving Ground, where we do a lot of our testing and development on properties. And One of the things that you alluded to here is one of the big improvements that we wanted to make on the new Bolt that's coming out is improving the charging performance. The older Bolt charged around 50 kilowatts, and a lot of the newer cars do a lot more. So with this car, we went ahead and we included the NACS charging port native. So being able to charge at a lot of the Tesla superchargers be very easy. No adapters needed for that. You can still charge at other places with an adapter, but the Tesla network is now kind of unlocked without adapters, which is
Now,
good.
Jeffrey, one thing, this is, to me, not a good thing as to the location of this charging port, especially when you're pulling into a V3 supercharger with the shorter cables. I know it must have been a big challenge to actually say, let's move that from where it was on the older car. Can you just talk about the sort of the design? Why did you put it and keep it in that same spot?
Well, a lot of people, they may be have charging at home. And a lot of the home charging stations, it's kind of more convenient to charge up front here. I think one of the other things, this car is a pretty short overhang. So even though you have to maybe get close to the station, it's still pretty easy to do compared to a lot of other EVs.
Right.
So to kind of allow us to let people use their home charging that they might already have, it just seemed like it was something that would work for everyone.
Okay, I think that's fair. That's fair. So, you know, listen, we're going to get some interesting pictures. If you're charging your Bolt on a V3 and it's a short cable, send me your pictures. I'd like to post them. We'll see what's going on. So, what was the big? What are you most proud of with the design of the battery on this vehicle, and what is it that you've done differently from a chemistry standpoint?
Yeah, I think one of the neat things is like with the LFP chemistry, we've really been able to up the charging on this vehicle. Like I think maybe as you saw yesterday, it's possible to get over 150 kilowatts of charging, and our 10 to 80%, which is really the bulk of the charge that people care about, we can do that in about 26 minutes. So it's a very road trippable car. It's something I've taken my family. We'll run to Chicago, or we've been down to Cincinnati, and you don't spend a lot of time charging. You kind of pull in the vehicle. If you set it all up, telling you where you want to go, it'll make sure the battery's preconditioned to the right temperature. So when you get to the charging station, you charge at its peak rate, and you're back on the road to where you want to get to.
And also one of the benefits of the lithium iron phosphate is the fact that you can charge to 100% and not have to worry about damaging the pack. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's one of the things I guess we recommend our customers do with this is like we can go to the full 100%. So there's no recommendation for 80% or anything like that. So you get a full 262 miles of EV range all the time with your 100%.
So 65 kilowatt hours. Tell me a little bit about the battery management system. Is that technology in-house?
Yep, the algorithms that we use are all developed in-house. While we use a lot of the same controllers and things like that as our other Ultium vehicles, we do have some different algorithms that work on this LFP chemistry battery, but they are all developed in-house.
Right. Well, listen, the net effect of all your efforts are the fact that the Bolt is no longer an embarrassment, charging at 55 kilowatts. You know, I mean, it was never really designed for that. Back when I was imagined when it was on the drawing board, there wasn't a lot of high-speed DC fast charging. This car, when did the Bolt originally come out?
I believe it was like 2017 when the original Bolt came out.
Wow, okay. A lot's happened with charging infrastructure since then. So anyway, hats off to you, Jeffrey. Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it, and keep plugging.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, everyone, this is Chris Kerry. I'm going to let him introduce himself, and we're actually going to take a look under the hood here. Chris, tell me a little bit about yourself and your role at Chevy.
Thank you. I'm Chris Kerry. I am the Chief Engineer for Drive Units and Power Electronics, primarily working on the drive units that are in the Bolt and the Equinox. I'll go through a little bit of detail on them for you. One of the things to making this the most affordable EV was being able to reuse some of the major components. In this case, I'm talking about the drive unit, which is the gearbox, has the electric motor inside it, and on top of it, this part right here is a power electronics box that has the inverter, the charging module for AC charging, as well as a DC to DC connector that powers the 12-volt system from the larger battery. The entire underhood had to be redone. The new cradle to get the thermal controls, the heat pump, everything you see under the hood here had to be redone from the old car to reuse this. But of course, reusing this gave us a great scale. This drive unit in this application puts down 210 horsepower. The axle torque that it delivers to the wheels is a little bit higher than the old Bolt, which allows it to have a 0 to 60 time that is 0.2 seconds faster than the old Bolt. So a real win-win here to reuse everything and get all this integration done under hood.
So we're doing 0 to 60 now in 6.8 versus 7, right?
Correct.
Tell
yes.
me a little bit about the pack voltage of the battery pack at a low state of charge, let's say 10% versus 90%. What's the range?
Yeah, so the battery pack range at the lowest end is a little bit under 300 volts, and it stays stable really with LFP. It stays stable all the way through. So
all the way through.
Not a really big change. This is a little bit higher voltage that we had to accommodate in the power electronics box relative to some of the other applications.
Right.
But it accomplishes that very easily with the LFP. It's a really good match.
When you were redesigning the Bolt, did you try to put a frunk in there, or are you like, there's just no way we can do it?
That was never really on the menu, I'll say, for this application. It's really small anyway.
Yeah.
And you would have needed a really, really small drive unit in this to get that extra space needed. You would have had to put the power electronics somewhere else in the car. That's a trade-off, right?
Right.
You would give up some trunk space
right.
to have it. So we found that a lot of people don't actually look for a frunk in this size vehicle, and we kept the space we have.
Yeah, well, listen, Chris, thank you very much for that explanation. That's really good stuff, and congrats on the 2027 Bolt.
Thank you.
All right, Chris Bowman, we've become good friends. We met at Charlotte Motor Speedway at the Blazer SS launch event, which was a lot of fun. And also, if you check out over on the Out of Spec Bits channel, you'll see Chris doing the ride along with me for the Super Cruise ride that we did. I think in Jeremy's yellow, his yellow Bolt, the atomic yellow. So, Chris, one of the things that is quite impressive is even at the price point of $28,995 for the LT, this car comes standard with 20 major safety features. Can you just like rattle off a few of these? Because that's super impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. We're so happy that we could bring, America's most affordable EV, but not a stripped down version, a version that's even got more safety features than we've ever had in Bolt before. Starting with adaptive cruise control. And our adaptive cruise control is a system that's based on radar and cameras both. And that is standard on every vehicle, starting from the LT. We've got features like full speed automatic emergency braking, including intersection braking and bicyclist braking. We've got new features like side bicyclist alert, where if you're sitting in your car and a bicycle comes by you, the vehicle actually alert you not to open your door and knock into them. We've got rear park assist standard on the vehicle. We've also got things
Quick question
like,
on that rear park assist.
Yeah.
If you're backing up and all of a sudden you're about to hit into something, will the car automatically put on the brakes and stop?
Yes, so we have alerts as well as braking, rear automatic braking available as well.
All right, Chris, here we are on the inside of the 2027 Bolt. And the first thing that strikes me is, these screens are not small. They are really nice, but it's also a nice combination of touchscreen plus also dials and buttons that I sort of like.
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as the screens, from the previous Bolt, we have upgraded the size of the screen. So before we had an 8-inch cluster, we've moved that up to 11 inches. And we previously had a 10.2-inch center display, and we've moved that up to 11.3 inches. And that's all new hardware and software that's driving those screens as well. Because the system knows the vehicle so well, whenever we put a route into Google Maps, you're always shown your state of charge on arrival, which is kind of my go-to most important number in the vehicle. So that just gives customers confidence that they don't have range anxiety and that they can always make it to their destination. The other thing the system will do is if for some reason conditions change and your state of arrival charge drops below 10%, it will automatically give you a pop-up and say, hey, you're getting kind of low on arrival. Should we add a charging stop? And it'll route you to a charger that's compatible.
Later this year, you're going to be able to do plug and charge at Tesla superchargers.
Yep, absolutely. Plug and charge is right around the corner for us here, coming later this year, and that obviously makes charging super easy. You just roll up to the charger, plug in. All the billing and payment is done in the background. No apps, no credit cards, no nothing.
And today, if you want to actually charge at a Tesla supercharger, you don't need to use an app, whether it's the GM app or the Tesla app. You can just you can just light this puppy up right here on the screen, which is great. That's what I did yesterday at the charging session.
Yep, absolutely. You can go right to Charge Assist, and you can find a Tesla supercharger station, navigate to the station right from the center screen. It's actually even showing you here which ones are available. Looks like Tesla's pretty busy this morning. Here we find a Tesla supercharger that's available, and it's actually going to show you what ports are available at that charger. You can select one of those ports and start charging right from your home screen.
That's beautiful. And it's only going to get better from there with plug and charge later this year. Am I correct in thinking that you can do plug and charge already with this vehicle at Iona?
Yeah, at Iona and excuse me, at EVgo, we do have a plug and charge available right now.
Okay. Yeah, you're so excited you've lost your voice, you know. So, Chris, what else is new in the 27 Bolt versus the older Bolt?
Yeah, so a couple of new things we've just recently added. We now have Apple Music native in our system, so we heard a lot of customers are Apple Music lovers, want to have that available to them. So Apple Music is now native right within the system. The other thing that we've also added recently to our data plans is, we previously gave you data for all your Google Maps and whatnot for 8 years with the vehicle. Now we've also included the data for streaming services for audio streaming for 8 years as well. So that's included right with your vehicle purchase, no additional subscription. And if you've got Apple Music or Spotify, you can listen right in the car with no additional subscriptions.
I get it. Let's talk just briefly about the different options that are available on the Bolt. The first one that I think everyone should tick the box on is this sunroof. $1,495, and it opens.
Absolutely. We can do a tilt and slide. It's a full panoramic roof. On a bright, sunny California day like today, it's great for that open air driving.
Try that in your Model Y, Kathy Connor. So, and then tell me a little bit about the tech package and why would I want that?
Yeah, the tech package in the vehicle, it gives you a few options that customers do really enjoy. It gives you this rear camera mirror where you can actually see behind you with an unobstructed view. Dave, you're sitting in the back seat and I'm not seeing your head back there. I'm actually seeing a full view behind us.
Yeah.
If for some reason the customer doesn't like that view, you can just flip it and turn it off. It turns into a regular mirror. You can do that.
By the way, I've been skeptical of these implementations over the years. This one works. Whatever you've done here, I think it's got a nice wide field of view and it doesn't make me dizzy. And I don't know what it is about systems in the past that have made me dizzy, but good job on that. What else does the tech package include?
Tech package also includes a wireless phone charger right down here in our center console. You can slide your phone in there.
Is that for two phones or one?
That is one phone, but we do give you some extra spot for your sunglasses, keys, or something else next to it as well.
Okay, got it.
On the interior here, we have given you a lot of new extra storage spaces here. If your passenger wants to toss their phone up in the dash or whatever they've got, we've got spaces for that now.
Right.
And then the other thing in the tech package is our 360 camera system. So that actually gives you camera in the front bumper, on the rear, and then in the two side mirrors to give you that full surround view. So if I hit our little camera icon here, you can see our views. It also gives you a bird's eye view above the vehicle. And then the other thing we've done with that camera, since we already have the cameras there, is we've actually included kind of what we call a surround video recorder or a dash cam. And that's actually recording those 4 exterior cameras, nothing on the interior, but exterior cameras, video only, no sound, and it's recording them to a USB stick in the vehicle so that the video doesn't go to the cloud or anything. It's just going to the USB stick in the car. Mm-hmm. And then you've got this recordings icon here. So if you hit recordings, this is actually going to pull up and see all of your recent drives. So you can pick up whatever drive you've been on. And you can hit play and you can start watching wherever you've been driving.
Oh,
and
wow.
You've got the front camera. You can switch to the rear camera, and the two side cameras.
That's awesome, and the resolution looks excellent.
Yeah, they're really good looking. And again, just peace of mind for people. People like that confidence of having a dash cam. If somebody decides to side swipe you or something like that, you can see all those views of what's happening around you.
So what's the price on the tech package?
Tech package, I believe, is $1,595.
Okay, all right. And then Super Cruise is also an option.
Yep, Super Cruise is also an option on the vehicle. That's $32.55 for the Super Cruise option.
Is that available both on the LT and the RS?
It is available both on LT and RS.
Okay.
And with Super Cruise, you also get the front parking sensors with that. That comes along with Super Cruise, and it is our latest version of Super Cruise, like we talked about in the other video as well.
Yeah, well, that's good. Any other packages that you have available, or is that it?
So on our very base vehicle, on our base LT, there is also a comfort package. There is the very first package on that car. So, you know, for customers who are in warmer climates, you don't need things like heated seats. You can get our very base car, but we know a lot of customers, they want a heated steering wheel and heated seats. So we put a heated steering wheel, heated seats, and a power driver's seat in that comfort package as the very first package on the LT.
Chris, one of the things I noticed is you could watch out-of-spec videos on YouTube, right? Which is I highly recommend. But this screen is also it's got a browser built right into it as well.
Yeah, we've got a full Google Chrome web browser built in here. We happen to be on the Bolt homepage here. We can actually build and price our vehicle here if we want to spec a vehicle out and build one. We can do that right on the screen. And again, you can see very, very clear screen, nice crisp graphics here. Just really nice feature for when you're parked and charging. And you want to decide what kind of Bolt or what kind of vehicle you want to build next.
Right.
You can go through that right here on the screen. See all of our packages and options. Tech package $11.95.
Oh, so you're already saving money. Look at that. I
Absolutely.
like that. No, that's good. And the data that is being fed to that, is that included in the price of the tech package?
No, so the data packages are standard with the vehicle. They don't vary with any type of packages.
Oh, I see. So it's just you get the data, right?
You get,
That's
yes,
it.
so you got that connection.
And of course, there's OnStar as well, and that has different levels of subscriptions, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That is correct.
Okay, got it. And I see HomeLink as well up in the mirror.
No HomeLink. So in the mirror here, these are actually different adjustments for the mirror. So you mentioned the field of view. Like we can actually do things like zoom in and out with this mirror.
Oh, look at that.
And we actually can tilt. So if you want a little bit different view, you can tilt up and down. So you can kind of customize this mirror to make it look the way you want, to make it the most comfortable for you.
I see. I thought I saw a little house in there, but my eyes are tricking me. So I got it. Well, Chris, thank you very much. Appreciate it. This is a great little package. All right, well, listen, everyone. Bottom line is Bolt is back. It's a great package at a great value. I hope maybe watching some of the engineers explain the technology decisions, how it's charging, the drivetrain, and also a lot of the features that you may want to get from an optional standpoint. Look, check it out. Go see this at your dealership. But thanks again, everyone, for watching another episode of Out of Spec Reviews. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.